Why hello everybody, Spencer here, also known as ScreenSpeak, and in today's video, this is my top 10 favorite movies that I have seen in my lifetime. So without further ado, let's discuss. Alright, so as I just mentioned, this a little bit of a precursor. These are movies that I have seen in my lifetime, or specifically, some are before I was born. So these are all throughout time. This is the second time I'm shooting this video, and I tried doing this over Christmas break. You guys did not see the original version. I am doing this again because I went through and I'm like, you know what? I didn't like the original list, so I changed my list. Now, I have thought about, because I'm turning 21 this year, should I do a 21 movie list? Maybe I'll do that this year. Maybe I'll do it another year, when I turn 22 or 23. But as of now, I want to make a top 10 movie list. I made, if you haven't checked it out already, I made a top 10 show list. I made a top 10 I've made various years of my top 10 years list movies, and I made a top 10 Christmas movies list and other things like that. So, and top 10 animated movies, that was the other one. So be sure to check those out. But this is my top 10 movies of all time. Not animated movies, but top 10 movies. So with that said, let's kick things off with The Goonies. Now, this was one I did rewatch over January. And I was like, you know what? I'm adding this to my list because this is one of my favorite 80s movies. After Star Wars Skeleton Crew finished, there was a lot of things that made me go, I need to rewatch The Goonies. And this is one of those movies that, funny enough, it's directed by Richard Donner, and the screenplay is done by Steven Spielberg. And I really thought that Steven Spielberg directed this movie. When I watched it originally with my parents. I was younger, so I didn't have the full brain concept to comprehend that. And then remembering it, it's a Spielberg-inspired movie, but not directed by. So I just love the kid elements. All the kids in here, especially young Ke Huy Quan, Sean Astin, young... whatever his name is, Josh Brolin, teenage Josh Brolin, and just the love interest there with Josh Brolin, and then making out with I don't say that kids should be making out with teenage girls, but my point is the fact that it's misplaced there, she thinks it's Josh Brolin and it's not Josh Brolin. One of my favorite scenes in the movie, the kissing scene, if you know what I mean, you know, type of a thing. But just the whole it's not Skeleton Crew, but the whole pirate story is so much fun. And you don't get movies like this nowadays. And I wish you did. I'm not saying that Hollywood's broken, but I'm saying that this type of a movie is it's like a good palate cleanser to anything else that if it's we're watching a hard raunchy movie, this is a nice palate cleanser. And really, I think you can show this to your kids. In my opinion, I watch this again, I'm like, it's a nice, charming movie. So that said, Goonies comes in at number 10 for the 80s movies. Next at number 9 is Superbad. And this one, I don't remember having this one originally on my list, but yes. So there are two Michael Cera films on this list, and this one for me is I watched The Hangover for the second time with my parents over Christmas break, and The Hangover is really funny, but then I was like, you know what, Superbad has to go on this list because just the cast is incredible. This cast is as great as the cast from Crazy Stupid Love, and this I wrote a paper on this film for my intro to pop culture class a couple falls ago, a year ago, last fall of 23, and this is if you remember in 2023 there was a movie called Joyride. What a great comedy that was. This is I feel like this Joyride is the female version of Superbad. And that's really, really kind of a great comparison. Superbad, the combo here, you got Michael Cera, Christopher Mintz-Plasse, Jonah Hill, Bill Hader, Seth Rogen, Emma Stone. It's so great. So great. And these people, these teens trying to get, or I guess high schoolers trying to get alcohol and all this sort of stuff, just over the top shenanigans. It's a great movie. There's a lot I would like to talk about, but just, go watch it for yourself. It's a great comedy. There's just a whole lot here, drugs. The name of the movie kind of just like, what is this gonna be about? And just all the shenanigans you can wish for this. It almost reminds me, the first time I watched Dazed and Confused, like movies with drugs and alcohol always get me. And then it's like, hey, but Superbad is another level, and I love it a lot. And Judd Apatow, the director, or no, it's not Judd Apatow. That was something else. But I really thought it was Judd Apatow that did Superbad, but I'm wrong. Maybe he's a writer. Maybe he's a writer. I don't know. But at any rate, Superbad is such a great movie, and I highly recommend. It comes in at number 9. Number 8 on my list is Moonrise Kingdom. Now, this is my favorite Wes Anderson movie. I stand by that. And when anybody comes at me and says, what's your favorite? I love the director Wes Anderson. I should do a ranking at some point down the line. But this is my favorite. And yes, Isle of Dogs is great. Yes, Fantastic Mr. Fox is great. Those are both great animated movies. I should have included those, talked about them in my animated list, top 10 films. Yes, Grand Budapest Hotel is great. This is better. Now, I'm not, like I said, those other films are great. But this, for the young romance, for the cast alone, for what, Ed Norton. Ed Norton, I think he was in he might have been in Grand Budapest. He was also in Asteroid City, which Asteroid City was pretty good too. I should do a ranking so I know where that place is. But, this cast, even Tilda Swinton, maybe, I can't recall if Tilda Swinton was in Grand Budapest. I haven't watched that one in a little while. But this one, like I said, for that young, I just like the yellow color in this, and the scouts, and the story here. Just the young, I was just enthralled in the young relationship when the boy sees. Also, the young girl really reminds me of Scarlett Johansson. It, takes me out of the movie, and I'm like, hey, that girl looks like Scarlett Johansson, and I'm like, but it's not. I'm like, oh, wow. Anyway, it's just so, it just grabs me, and I'm like, because for me, somebody who, wants to get with somebody, and it's just, watching these stories, wow, Wes Anderson, wow. And, again, Grand Budapest is great. But this was on another level, and I can't stop. Just the way he does these scenes, the transitions, and the love story. It's beautiful. And then the ending, I wasn't sure how it was going to be resolved, and I'm like, wow, did something I didn't expect. So Moonrise Kingdom comes in at number 8. Number 7 is The Fall Guy. Now I rewatched this again in January. And this is one I had to add to the list. This is one that came out literally last year. But I'm biased towards this because this is a great love letter to the stunt industry in Hollywood. And it pains me to say that there's no category at the Oscars specifically for stunts. And this movie should definitely win that. But it's this movie's so good. With the action and David Leitch, this is my favorite David Leitch film over Deadpool 2, and that's saying something to the guy. The chemistry between Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt is fantastic. I love this. There's so much I can say without giving. There's major spoilers at the end of this film. I made a review of this. It's just listen. The Oscars need a category for this because this film is great, and this is 1 out of 4 movies I have that are after COVID, and movies like this specifically, like this movie didn't do the greatest at the box office, but I will recommend this to people because The Fall Guy, even it was a TV show like Mission Impossible was, and this movie, it doesn't need to be a franchise, but for this singular movie, it works on everything it tries to accomplish and more. So with that said, it comes in at number 7. At number 6, we have Beetlejuice. I almost said 5, but this is 6. Sometimes I get screwed up with my numbers. Anyway, this movie is my other favorite horror movie. My favorite over Goonies, but those two are great. Like this, E.T. is another great 80s film that I love, but didn't make the list. It's an honorable mention, okay? This one, when I watched it with my parents for the first time, I went, that was awesome. Where's the sequel? And they're like, there isn't one. They didn't use those explicit terms, but I was like, where's the next one? And we got the second one last year, 2024. It lived up to it. It really did. And people were mad at it. I'm like, I don't know what you're mad about. It felt true to the original. And this one, like, Beetlejuice 2 was on our honorable mentions list. Like, E.T. and Beetlejuice 2 were up there. But this one, because I don't include all my sequels on my top 10. Like, Incredibles 2 wasn't on my top 10 animated films. But this is awesome. The practical effects, the humor, the classic Beetlejuice costume you see right there. I wore it for Halloween last year. It's not on my social media right now because I'm off Instagram. But right now, I love this film. It's so quotable. I quote it all the time. And, after Beetlejuice 2, I haven't been into this one in a minute. But this one is so quotable with the lines, it's showtime. So, just, the things like that, I love this so much. And the final battle, so to speak, not final battle, but the final wedding showdown, showtime scene is so good, so memorable, and for that reason, it comes in at number 6. Number 5 is Kick-Ass. And this is my favorite Matthew Vaughn movie. And it takes, again... And I love, X-Men First Class with what he does in that. But this with the superheroes of a teenager wanting to become a superhero and pretending yeah, why isn't it normal? And getting his butt kicked or his ass kicked, kick ass. I'm swearing on the channel, but it's the name of the movie. And I just love these imitations of Batman and Batgirl, Big Daddy, Hit Girl, and it's just so funny. It's just so over the top, and I love it a lot. And Matthew Vaughn knows what he did, and the sequel, wasn't as great, but we got what we great original movie for Kick-Ass, and love it so much that it comes in here at number 5. Number 4 on my list is Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. Now, I have many thoughts on this film. One, I love this film so much. I gotta talk to my best friend about what I just watched with my friends over here. One of my friends was like, this film is all over the place. I can't watch this sober anymore. And I laughed my butt off because I was like, and he just thought that the relationship between Scott Pilgrim and the 16-year-old girl was, or 17-year-old girl was weird. I'm like, yeah, but you're not focused on the main plot in the movie. And that kind of bothered me. But anyway, this film is so good with its video game style based off of the comic book. It's the 7 Deadly X's, all the actors, all the cast, the humor, it works. It's there. And the cast brings out so much gravitas in this film and so much fun in this film that, again, with the weird plot line in the beginning, it's you just forget about it. I didn't even think about it, but forget about it. This film is a blast. You will love it. It's so good. And then my favorite Edgar Wright film over Baby Driver. Baby Driver's so good, but this one is just the bomb. And the transitions, the text transitions, everything. The text movement is awesome. And this film is perfect in my mind. So that said, it comes in at number 4. Number 3 is Everything Everywhere All at Once. Now, I struggle with this quite a bit because my top 3 is 3 movies from post-COVID, but I love all these movies, and this is one where I watched it the first time. I went, what the hell? And then I watched it with my parents, and they're like, what the hell? And my parents were like, what the hell? And I showed this to my friends back at home, and they're like, this is not for me. And I'm like, that's fine. But this movie is kind of all crazy and such, and very hardcore and raunchy. If that's not for you, I completely see where you're coming from. Completely floats my boat. Like, for me, I watched this and went, yes. I think a reason of that is because I watched Rick and Morty and went, this is what the MCU's multiverse is getting wrong. And it feels a lot like Everything Everywhere All at Once feels like what Rick and Morty does correctly. Like, I'm serious. And if you don't agree with that, that's fine. But I just feel that way. And I feel, because there's Rick and Morty writers on MCU films that try their best at what they're trying to accomplish, but it doesn't work for the MCU. But for what Everything Everywhere All at Once tried to accomplish, it worked. It's just, and that's my point. And it got the bonkersness right, it got the humor right, it got the storytelling right, the pacing, it just feels right. And Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness is a fun movie, but I feel like the structure of it is off in what they're trying to tell. So that's just me. And I like that movie, but I like Everything Everywhere All at Once just gets better and better with every rewatch. So that was said, it comes in at number 3. Alright guys, number 2 is Dune Part 2. And this film was awesome. This literally came out last year, and this is the reason this is my number 2 favorite film of all time. It's a sci-fi epic that lives up to the hype. Unlike Gladiator 2, Gladiator 2 is not really sci-fi, but Dune 2 takes what was established in the first film, builds upon that, makes great epic set pieces, action pieces, builds out the war, and new characters that are introduced, like, Florence Pugh and Austin Butler's characters that are used throughout the film, unlike Zendaya in the last film that was just set up at the end of the film, and Zendaya's used perfectly as the love interest here. A little forced, but really beautiful, and I love what they did with it. And it's like, I can watch the second film and go, I need to rewatch the second film again all the way through. I've watched it twice now, but I need to watch it for a third time. But it's like, hey, listen, that first film was a little bit slow, like progressively to get to the end, and then the second film just goes, boom, here you go, man. So I loved it, and maybe that's too much onomatopoeia for you, but take that with what you will. Dune Part 2 is a slam dunk, everything I wanted it to be. And I can't wait for Dune Messiah, but who knows what we're going to get from Denis Villeneuve. And that said, it comes in at number 2. Let's get on to my number 1. Cannot wait to tell you. And with that said, everyone, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is my number 1 favorite movie of all time. I literally got a poster right up there. You can't see it. It's right up there. I'm looking at it in my hindsight that, that I have on my wall. And it's just such a great animated film. Now, you might be thinking, this is your favorite animated film of all time. You can't have both in the same place. Alright. I know that's what you're saying to me. I know that's what you're typing on your computer in your mama's basement with your sweaty armpits and your Coke cans and your monsters and your... No, I'm just kidding. Kidding. So yeah, the reason behind this is I was moved by this film, right? It was like, it came out 2 years ago. Doesn't matter when. Just the time, the theater experience. I saw this at IMAX. I am seeing the next one in IMAX. Thursday night screening, baby. There's no doubt about that. I am seeing that then. Maybe we'll see when the packed better theater experience is. But this, even though it's animated, I have no other animated movies on this list here. It just packed a punch. It packed a bigger punch than No Way Home. And the main reason for that is because of how it was built from the original Spider-Verse. And yes, No Way Home brought 3 generations of Spider-Man, but this film is just it's just different, bro. It has like all the Spider-Man. It has all of them. And I cannot wait for what's coming in Beyond the Spider-Verse. They better not drop the ball. But anyway, we got like a dang perfect film with this. Why am I saying dang near? It's literally perfect. So that's it. In my mind, why is it so dark? Like I feel like this area is dark. Like you can see me, but like I just feel like it's dark in this general direction. Maybe not. Maybe they got a little brighter. Who knows what the heck is happening these days? And now the sun's coming back out. I'm going crazy. I probably should, not go crazy. But that said, Across the Spider-Verse is my favorite film of all time. Let me know if you agree with that. I actually know someone personally back in my hometown that does agree with me that it is the best film of all time. But we like share a brain cell, so that's fine. It's awesome. But do you agree with my list? Do you not agree with my list? To be honest with you, there was films like I got some time because my camera restarted, so I had to restart. So I got some time here to run through. I could just talk for 20 more minutes. I'm kidding. That E.T. and Beetlejuice 2 would be honorable mentions. The Fight Club is an honorable mention of there. I was debating about how Fight Club, but Fight Club is such like I feel like people, it's kind of boring. Like it kind of shuffles throughout the middle, and then like the best part's the ending. But Fight Club's honorable mention. There, again, I would like to make like a 21 film, like when I turn 21, but we'll have to see how well that goes. There's just things happening, like in May, May starts like the summer movie season. There's like, lots of stuff. It's crazy. So we'll have to wait and see. But with that said, guys, let me know if you agree with my list. Very excited that this finally happened. And again, I just love talking movies and TV. So this was a great time. I'm glad that this finally got to be made. And thank you for tuning in. This is a premiere, by the way. I didn't mention that at the beginning of the video, but thank you for tuning into this. And I don't know when I'll be doing another premiere. But again, leave a like, subscribe, follow me where you can on social media. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, follow me. Don't forget to keep calm, watch the screen. Peace out, everyone.